Hey guys, this is Rick Utzler here with AirgunWeb, where we tell you the facts, not fluff. Today we're going to take a look at the new Hatsan Nova. Now I got this back in December and I've had a blast shooting this gun. Can't wait to tell you about it. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hey guys, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know we're not strangers to the Hatsan line of air guns. So there's certain things I'm probably not going to cover because we've just covered it so many times in the past. What I do want to talk about is what sets the Nova apart from all the other guns, and that's what we're going to jump right into. So the first thing you're going to notice is this big bottle up front. It's a 500cc reservoir. That's about twice what you normally get, and that means you're going to get a lot more shots. You also notice that the barrel is fully floated, and it does have the QE system at the end, so it has a fully integrated suppressor. It is quiet. The rest of the gun is very similar to like maybe their AT line, which has the side lever cocking just like this does. Now, some of their guns have a bolt, others have a different type of side lever. I really like the side lever over the others, well, over the bolt anyway, because it's very easy to operate. This gives you a mechanical advantage when you go to cock the gun. It makes it very easy. Now that I've got this opened up, let's go ahead and load our magazine. This is the 22 caliber. Now this comes in 177, 22, and 25. You get 10 shots in 22 and 177, and you get 9 shots in 25. Go ahead and load the magazine here. One of the things you want to be careful of, or at least mindful of when you're loading your magazine, make sure that your pellets actually fit properly in the mag. If they don't, they could jam up the action and cause you some problems. So make sure that the pellets you're using fit flush. They don't protrude either out the back or the front of the magazine. All right, once you've got it set back in and set your pin, rotate it till it clicks. That way you know you're indexed properly before you close the cocking handle. Now the gun is pretty much ready to roll. As with most Hatsan rifles, it does have an automatic safety. So the minute I cock this gun, it put the safety on. So now when we're ready to fire, we're going to push that forward and be ready to fire. Before we do that, let's talk a little bit about some of the other features unique to the Nova. Okay, so we talked about the bottle. The stock is actually pretty nice. It's a newly designed stock because I had to with this bottle. I really like the fact that it's very rigid. Some of the composite stocks haven't been really rigid in the past, so when you go to get on a bipod, they can wiggle a little bit. This thing is rock steady, and that means when you're shooting from a bench or you're just target shooting long range, you're going to have a very steady shooting platform. Now let's talk about the weight of the Nova. It is a little bit heavy. When I have it decked out like we got it here with the scope, bipod, sling, you're sitting right at around 13 pounds. Now, that's kind of hard to kind of shoulder and shoot like if you're going to run and gun. But if you're in a stand or if you hunt with shooting sticks like I do, really the weight's not going to be a problem. It does have a sling mounts on it, so you can just sling it and carry it. So that's not a big deal. If you're out in the woods and you're going to sort of stalk your prey, just get a set of shooting sticks and you'll be fine. Let's talk a little bit about fill pressure. Now, most Hatsan guns are going to fill to 200 bar. You saw that change when they introduced the bottle guns. The Hercules is an example, and so is this. This goes to 250 bar. That means when you're filling your gun to get the most out of it, you're going to really probably need a carbon fiber tank so you can get that full fill pressure, because most of your scuba tanks, your aluminum tanks, only fill to right around 200 bar. So if you want to get all the shots available, you're going to have to go to a carbon fiber tank. Make sure you can fill this to 250 bar. Now I'm going to go ahead and send my first shot down range here. Release the safety. Gently squeeze the trigger. It's that simple. Now I'm getting more noise off the back of my trap than I am getting out of the gun itself. This is very, very quiet. So let's talk about where the Nova's really going to shine. We already know the Hatsan guns are basically going to be very accurate. They're going to produce a lot of power, and they give you pretty decent shot count. Well, this takes the shot count like into the next century. You know, before we maybe get 2 or 3 mags out of a gun, before we need to be thinking about topping it off, we're getting 80 basically equal shots out of this rifle. And this is not a regulated gun. We're getting like 80 shots with maybe a 45 to 50 foot per second spread. And out of an unregulated gun, that's pretty doggone good. And that's not like a drop, that's a decent curve. So that 50 foot per second spread isn't just a continuous drop, it's a nice rise and fall. And of course it falls way off on either side. If you try and go beyond those 80 shots, you really can see the differences. But if you keep that shot count to about 80, you've got some really good consistency and allows you to stretch it out with some great confidence and accuracy at long range. Now today what we're going to do, because there is so much to talk about with this gun, and I don't want to have a 45-minute review. We've talked about some of the differences, we've talked about the fill pressure, talked about shot count. I want to show you guys some basic accuracy just here on my range at 21 yards. Now I know you guys really don't want me to stretch this out, and that's coming up in part 2, and if things all go well, we're going to have a part 3. We're going to take this out and do some hunting too. So keep your fingers crossed for that. But for right now, let's go ahead and set up and we'll see what we can get here at 21 yards. I'm shooting the JSB 18.13s. Aaron's done a bunch of testing with this gun, as have I, and those seem to give us the most consistent groups. We're averaging right around 935 feet per second. It's pretty stout for a 22, especially when you're talking about 80 shots, guys. 80 shots out of this gun. That's a ton. That is just a ton of shooting off of one fill. And that's what makes, for me, that's what makes this super special. Before we shoot the accuracy test, I do want to talk a little bit about the optic I've chosen for this gun. This is the Hawke Frontier with the TMX reticle. The magnification range on this scope is 5 to 30. Now, one of the disadvantages, quote unquote, to that scope is it won't parallax down to 10 yards. It'll only parallax down to 30 yards. So at my 21 yard range, the best I can do really is 10 power. But when I take this out and we're going to shoot 50, 100 yards, whatever we're going to shoot, I can get the most out of that magnification. And this thing is super clear. You know, it's hard for me to try and tell you guys how clear this scope is, but it is unbelievably clear. And that's thanks to the fully multi-coated optics that this scope really uses. Now this is the top of the line in that series of Hawke products. That's the Frontier line. This is a phenomenally nice scope. The reason I put it on this gun is because I do want to shoot long range with this, and I want to hunt long range with it, and that TMX reticle gives me all those individual aim points that I think will really help in that scenario. Okay, enough talking. Let's shoot some targets. Yeah, that's it. All right, guys, that's 50 shots. Same fill, and we still got air. Well, guys, I've had people ask me, what's so special about the Nova? That's what's so special about the Nova. Really, when I took my time and just relaxed, that's what I got. I mean, it's so easy with the side lever because it's so smooth. You sort of can kind of get ahead of yourself. Actually, one shot, I got a little aggressive taking up the first stage of the trigger and fired before I meant to, but it still went right where I needed it to go. It's good, you got to watch where your muzzle's pointed when you put your finger on the trigger. But that's 50 shots. 50 shots. It's 5, 10-shot groups. And to me, that's pretty awesome. When I look at my air reservoir at the bottom here, I still easy got another 3 mags to go. So when we're talking 80 shots, it's an honest to goodness 80 accurate shots. And I want to just stress that, because if really shot count and shot volume is what you're looking for, man, this gun just gets it done. It just does. And the price point's in that sort of $800 price point, which is very reasonable for all you're getting in this package. You're getting a very adjustable trigger, can pull down to, you know, sub 2 pounds. It's suppressed. It's got the bottle, very high volume bottle, easy to operate, great accuracy. It's a little bit heavy, but just use shooting sticks. Or if you're gonna target shoot, you're gonna shoot off a bench anyway, so it doesn't matter. I love this gun. This is the Hatsan Nova. It's available at pyramidair.com. Look, guys, if you're looking for that high volume, great accuracy gun, Hatsan Nova, you gotta take a look. So I'd like to take a moment and thank Pyramid Air for sponsoring AirgunWeb in these videos. Remember, guys, when you're looking to buy your next air gun, you're looking to get your next batch of supplies, go to www.pyramidair.com and let them know that Rick sent you their way. My name is Rick Utzler here with AirgunWeb, where we tell you the facts, not fluff. So remember, when you're looking for honest, real-world airgun reviews, think AirgunWeb. Thanks, guys.